Okay.
No, you capture it. It's okay.
Whatever, you can introduce them. Anyway, so we've got 1.5 million members, and the challenge for us is how do you get 1.5 million members into one room? 500,000 of them are active, so the other almost 1 million members are not active. But even with those who are active, there is no room in Uganda, as far as I'm aware, where we can take 500 members. So what we did is that we chose out 3 categories of members who will attend. The first is the employers. The employers who contribute to us about 70%, right? The companies that do that. There are about 500 of them. The second category is our stakeholders, people like the union, people like the government, people like some of the employer associations, and then finally we gave an opportunity to our ordinary members to apply online as well. So 500,000 were from employers, and then the other 500 are from our employers, and the other 500 is from our membership. So they applied online, so we'll have 1,000 people in the Serena, and we'll then listen to what they've got to say.
And then implement. Thanks. Can you give us a brief background on yourself?
Myself.
Before you appointed, what were your expectations? What did you intend to achieve? What was your focus? And now, when you look back, when you say, I was looking at doing this, and now I'm going down the road.
All right, I think there are 3 main areas that I had expectations from. The first area would be the whole issue around collections. I wanted to make collections of members as painless as possible for the member. That's because in the past we collected money manually using a check, and that would lead to a lot of errors. It would lead to people forgetting. It would lead to delays in updating member statements. So one of the things we did to solve that is to introduce what we call an electronic collection system, which is outsourced to the banks. So banks now collect on our behalf from the employer, and they give us an electronic schedule, which we then update into our system, and the member statement is then updated. Our turnaround time is about 48 hours. It used to take us 2 months to update a member statement. Now it takes us 48 hours to update a member statement. Currently 60% of our collections are done that way. So obviously we still have 40%, which is still money which we need to turn around. The second area was to improve the efficiency of managing the business and reducing the cost of doing business. I think that we've largely achieved because if you notice, we used to have more than 100 cars. We have less than 30 cars today. We used to have 24 offices spread around the country. We've reduced them. Now we've got about 20 offices spread around the country, and yet we are collecting much more. We used to collect 28 billion shillings. We are now collecting over 52 billion shillings per month. So that growth in our business has come out of more efficiency. It has not come out of more members being recruited. In fact, our membership has not grown that much in line with the rest of the economy, because employment is not created that often. What we've done is that we've improved our compliance levels. Our compliance levels used to be about less than 50%. They are now well above 75%. So that means that the companies which had already registered with us are now complying more than they ever did. That's what has led to the increase in our collections.
In this period, what time we collected? 28?
About 3 years ago. The third area is the investments. When I joined the fund, I noticed that there were a lot of real estate investments which had been started but not even completed or even started. Or some of them, including land, famously Temanga, famously Msimbe, famously Mbo. The intention was to jumpstart them. It's taken us a little bit long. In fact, that to me is my biggest regret. We've not been able to turn around real estate as quickly as we would have wanted to. And there are two main factors. One is the process is actually long. We require a lot of approvals before beginning a real estate project. And secondly, because the values involved are very big, there's been a lot of interest in these projects from the external, who've made our work very difficult because the law of Uganda of procurement allows anybody who is not happy to actually stop the process through either the IGG or through the PPDA process. And unfortunately, because of the many interests, we find that we've not been able to make as significant a progress as we have. But what we've then done is, because we've collected a lot of money, our balance sheet has grown from 1.5 trillion shillings to about 3.2 trillion shillings as I speak today, is we've increased our investment in fixed incomes investments. That's mostly treasury bonds and also investments in banks. And we've also started investing in the East African region, especially in the treasury bond market, because in places like Kenya and Tanzania, they have long-dated maturity treasury bonds where we started investing. The advantage of these investments is that they give us a good return and they are safe because we are investing in government paper. The disadvantage is that they do not shield us when the returns go down, because returns on money, treasury bonds, normally come down during periods of good performance of the economy. So they sort of give you the reverse of what happens in the economy. When the inflation is high, the returns are high. When the inflation is low, the returns are low. Because so we need to invest more in equities and also in the real estate. So when I look at my expectation, I would believe that we've done very well on the collection side. We've done very well on the efficiencies and costs. We've not done very well on the real estate projects, but we've sort of found a safety valve by investing in treasury bonds. And I believe that our return on investments has been very, very good. We paid out an interest rate of 10% last year, which basically shows that the return we are making for members is reasonably well. And if you look at a 10-year period, because that's our benchmark for paying our members, you'll find that we have paid slightly above the 10-year average inflation rate.
Yeah, and let me ask, you're saying your biggest regret is less investments in real estate. So what are you going to do about it?
Well, it's to continue plying away. My target is to go back to the drawing board. One of the things we tried to do to at least bring transparency to the procurement process is we have outsourced the procurement of large projects to a third-party provider. What effectively this means is that the PPDA rule, or the procurement rules of government, allow us to outsource part of the process of buying things to an outsider, which means that our people in-house are taken out of the process. And it then means that it brings in an element of transparency, and because it's being done abroad, then you can be sure that these people have not been compromised. So we think that as a result of this new measure which we brought in place, we should now jumpstart some of the projects that have stalled for a while.
Do you have any targets for that?
We believe that within this year we can start on the two big projects of pension towers and also the big project of Rubo. And if we do push, then next year we will then start the project of Temanga, the next year of 2014.
Temanga.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we can go to the next question. On the Alcott case, we saw in papers that there was a lot of claiming in terms of billions.
I think first of all, before you even talk about the lawyer, you need to talk about the fact that as a fund, we've done very well in being able to overturn the arbitral award that was made to Alcon those many years ago. This case has been going on for 14 years, and the fund has lost on all the courts before the Supreme Court. So our last chance was the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, we've been able to overturn it. In the process, we've saved the fund 60 billion shillings. This money is equivalent to 2% that we can pay to our members today. Now, that to me is a very, very big milestone in the history of the fund. It had the capability of really derailing the fund in terms of if we had lost it. However, we've won, and the courts have overturned the arbitral award that was made to Alcon. Now, with regard to the fees that are being claimed by the lawyer, it is a matter that is before the court. Obviously, the lawyer did put in an invoice. We believe that the lawyer who had been representing us for a long period has to be paid, but we don't believe he has to be paid to that amount. And therefore, we've gone to court to ask for the court to reduce the amount of fees that we need to pay. We believe we have a strong case to be able to lower that fee. But in the scheme of things, I think it doesn't make any sense for fees to be very close to what we were trying to prevent. Normally, fees are based on a percentage. They shouldn't be based on the whole. So we think that we have a very good case, but this matter is before the court, and therefore I would not like to discuss it really.
Yeah, I know it can be prejudicial, but at least you can be in a comfortable position to say that according to our terms of agreement, he's the lawyer, this is what we have agreed to pay. Okay, fine, thanks. At work here, what challenges do you face when you look at your predecessor? They didn't live honorably. Some have gone to jail. So, what challenges do you face here?
I haven't faced any challenges that everybody assumed I would face with regard to what my predecessors went through. I have found that I've been able to do my work. I have a very supportive board. There's corporate governance structure. I operate within it. I think that if you do the right thing based on the corporate governance structure, I think you'll do the best. Obviously, it's constraining because one of the things, for example, that could lead to issues is trying to jumpstart the process, trying to go beyond what the current corporate governance structure allows. For example, doing things without authority. I think if you avoid those, then it shouldn't be a problem.
So you haven't had any challenge with political interference?
Not at all.
Not at all. And does government usually borrow from the people?
It borrows from us all the time.
Okay.
Yes, that's government borrowing. We invest in treasury bonds, that's government borrowing. At the moment, we've lent to government over 1 trillion shillings in government bonds. So government borrows from us all the time, but it borrows from you as well. It borrows from many people on the street through issuance of treasury bills. If you notice, every week there is a treasury bill auction. Government is borrowing from you.
That's very good. And recently there were some cases of corruption, people suspected of taking bribes with the process, pension of money, things like that.
That was, there were 2 individuals. It was an isolated case because one of the things we've done is to improve the processing of benefits. We used to take 105 days to process a benefit on average. That meant that a lot of people would be kept in the queue waiting for their benefit, their own benefit, their own money. We think that's not good at all, right? Because it is their money. We've reduced this process to 18 days as I speak today. That means that a person who is waiting for their benefits on average waits for 18 days. But there are some people who take shorter and those who take a bit longer. Okay, but on 18 days they get it. That means that there is no opportunity for our staff to get involved in that. And we, once that matter was brought to our attention, we actually dismissed these individuals.
Did you dismiss them?
Yes.
Or you recommended some to KCCA?
No, we
There's a
dismissed
case where someone was recommended by NSSF to get another job in KCCA, despite being...
Absolutely not.
It's not true.
I'm not aware. We definitely dismissed them. If they applied for a job at KCCA, that was done by their own selves. I wasn't aware. Certainly, I wouldn't recommend anybody who had left in those circumstances to go to KCCA because they would do the same thing there. And if they've done it, I would like to be the first to know.
Okay, that's very good. And the last question is, looking forward, what should your customers look at now?
Well, our customers should look at, first of all the things we've done. 1, we've rebranded. 2, we have this members meeting. 3, we've continued to improve the fund's delivery of service. We've brought down our cost of doing business. We're giving a good return based on the economy. So the next thing for us is to introduce the new products, which will be allowed under the new legislation that is currently before Parliament. That legislation will allow us to provide more than our current benefits. Our current benefits are based on age, they're based on death, and they're based on illness. So those 3 conditions, as you can see, are very limited. We believe that we can provide more. For example, we can provide education, we can provide education benefits, we can provide unemployment benefits, we can provide health benefits, we can also provide mortgage benefits. So we think that once that opportunity has been set by the new law, then we should be able to give our members more variety in terms of benefits, more variety in terms of the return on their money, and more benefits in terms of their access to our service delivery, which we're continuing to do by offering them electronic channels.
Maybe from what you've said, we can also ask you, would you provide us with statistics on the number of people who have been able to successfully get their benefits in the last 3 years?
That number has been improving. It's about 600 people per month as I speak, which works out at about 10,000. We anticipate that this particular year we'll do about 12,000. That's about 1,000 people per month. The numbers have been going up. Just to give you the figures, 2-3 years ago, we were paying out about 6 billion shillings per month. We're now paying out about 12-13 billion shillings a month. So that shows you that the number of people who are actually getting their money has increased, and the value has also increased. Don't forget that a lot of our members are also becoming older. Those who started with the fund are now becoming older, and they're beginning now to get their benefits. So we will see a lot of those coming through as well.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you too. Thank you.
So this is my team. This is
good.
Frank.
Hi, Frank.
This is Ando's business. Camera.
Good. Good. So you're going to put this online one of these days?
Yeah, we're going to put it today ahead of this function.
Oh, fantastic.
Richard will also be covering us live tomorrow.
Fantastic.
For the union.
Yeah.
And we look forward to working with you.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thank you, cameraman.
Okay, see you.
Richard, thanks for your time.
Not a problem.
Thank you
Put
very
back my
much.
AC.
We keep in touch with
Yes,
you in case
yes,
of anything.
yes, no problem. So much going on, I need to
Yeah.
sort myself out.
Okay, thank you.
And have a